So the truth is there isn't too much that Lore can do to improve the experience with React Router, as it's fairly simple as is. But one thing Lore does do is automatically hook it into the application so that you don't have to set it up yourself. That being said, the routes.js file at the root of the project is where you specify the route hierarchy for your application. It's broken out to be clear and easy to find. If you need to change any of the configuration settings for React Router, you can do that in the config directory. The config directory contains files that enable you to control all of the default behaviors in Lore, but in this section we're only interested in one of those files, which is router.js. This file contains all of the settings that end up being passed into React Router when Lore builds your application. The default history type, for example, is push state, otherwise known as browser history in React Router. So if you wanted to change the history type and use hashtag routing instead, you could toggle that setting in this file. Additionally, this config folder contains an environment folder that allows you to change any of the config settings on a per environment basis. Alright, so that covers where you specify your routes and how to modify the default configuration for React Router. Let's head over to our components to show how to use React Router. Since React Router is already integrated into your project when it's first created, you can immediately dive into your components and start referencing React Router. The usage for React Router doesn't change, as Lore doesn't modify or obscure any of the libraries it's built over. So if you want to make a link clickable, you could just import the link component from React Router. Or if you needed to change the route programmatically, you could grab router from context and use that directly.